Settings within Windows Control can be accessed in two ways, either via the controller or via the taskbar, and all settings are gaze enabled, meaning that the user does not require additional assistance in order to personalise Windows Control to make it work best for them. So if I can go ahead and open up settings via the controller, we have here eye tracker settings, general settings, activation and feedback, taskbar and keyboard, and help and usage. So to start with eye tracker settings, this is the place where we can test our calibration as well as do an accurate or a simple recalibration. And we can also create and manage our profiles within here as well. General settings allows us to decide whether or not we want Windows Control to launch when Windows launches. And we can also decide whether we want the controller to be minimized or maximized when it does so. Within activation and feedback, we can change the activation method, and since I'm using an eye tracker right now, I'm not going to switch to switch, I'm going to keep with gaze selected. Underneath that, we can change the button dwell time, and at present we have the slowest dwell time selected. So if I look at the look away before reselecting icon as an example, you'll see that it takes a little bit of time to make that selection. Though if I choose to have the quickest button dwell time, when I look at the same icon on the screen, changes happen a lot quicker. We can also change the dwell time needed for the keyboard as well. When we go to feedback, we can decide whether we want to have the same clock feedback type that we have now, or whether we want to have a dot or invisible feedback. We can change the feedback color as well as the feedback size between small, medium and large. The next part of settings, taskbar and keyboard, has a few different options: zoom, tasks, taskbar and keyboard. And within here we can change firstly the depth of zoom when we're making the second of the two-step selection process. Deeper the zoom, the longer it takes, but it's more forgiving. And the shallower the zoom means that it's a quicker zoom, but you have to be much more accurate to have success with that zoom type. And we can also change whether we have a slow or a fast zoom too. Within tasks, we can decide which of the tasks we want to have shown in the taskbar, and we can actually only have one task shown in the taskbar if we would like to as well, which can be a good way to start practicing skills using Windows Control. Within the taskbar, we can decide if we want to have a small, medium or large taskbar, and the icons stay the same size when we change the taskbar size, though the selectable area that is next to each icon grows in size. So with a small taskbar, the icon stays the same size, but the area on each side of the icon is smaller, therefore less forgiving. Though if we go up to a large taskbar, and I can show you an example here, when large taskbar is selected, we have a much bigger area that we can select with next to each icon. And it's not just the blank space you see next to each icon, this also extends onto the other side of the task. So if you imagine that the task in the taskbar that you see here, these are actually in the middle of the selection area right now instead of to the far right. Going back into settings, we can pull up the keyboard settings. And here we can turn on or off word prediction, sound feedback, and the size of the keyboard, as well as being able to change the language that the keyboard is displayed in. And within help and usage, we can choose to re-watch the initial tutorial that played when we started Windows Control for the first time. And we can also go to online help directly within Windows Control relating to FAQs and videos and such. So please feel free to go into the settings of Windows Control and have a play around, try different things and make it work best for you.